Hey, my crazy cool cats out there, I'm Becky with Media Kitten Audios, where my point of these movie reviews is to begin civil discussions with other film lovers about what we like and dislike about a variety of movies, and be open to all kinds of perspectives and opinions, whether we agree with them or not, and have fun doing so. So today, we're going to be discussing Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel is a 2019 superhero action film, of course by Marvel Studios, and stars Brie Larson as Carol Danvers, aka Captain Marvel herself. It is the 21st film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, or the MCU, preceded by Ant-Man and the Wasp, and followed by Avengers Endgame. I haven't seen Endgame yet. I know, but I'm incredibly excited to see it, and only haven't due to personal issues, and also wanted to watch Captain Marvel first since it came out first. So please take that I haven't seen Larson's second outing as Captain Marvel into consideration. Also, a side note is, I'd appreciate it if anyone who has seen Endgame please either don't spoil it for me and others in the comment section, or just put a little warning before your thoughts that it will contain spoilers so everyone can continue reading at their discretion. Thank you so much, and back to talking about Captain Marvel. It was written and directed by Anna Boden and Ryan Fleck, with Geneva Robertson-Dworet also contributing to the screenplay. The film has grossed over $1 billion worldwide, making it the first female-led superhero film to pass the $1 billion mark. It is currently the second highest grossing film of 2019, the 9th highest grossing superhero film of all time, as well as the 22nd highest grossing film overall. And right now I'm going to activate a spoiler warning for those of you who haven't seen the film and just want to go in cold without knowing anything. And for those of you who have seen the film or don't care about spoilers, let's continue. So, spoilers in 3, 2, 1. It is about a woman named Veers, later found out to be Carol Danvers, who, for the past 6 years, has been a Kree warrior fighting their enemies, the shape-shifting Skrulls, after losing her memory. After a failed mission, she crashes on Earth, meeting S.H.I.E.L.D. agent Nick Fury, and during her journey, she uncovers secrets kept from her, and allies turn to enemies, and Carol discovers her full potential. So what did I like about this film? Let's break it down. I love the intro being dedicated to Stan Lee, since he is the mind that created all of these amazing characters, and obviously the inspiration for all of these films, and he totally deserved that because he is a superhero in his own right. Acting-wise, Samuel L. Jackson and Ben Mendelsohn were definitely the standout performances, and Jude Law did well as well. I love the Supreme Intelligence building. I thought it was constructed beautifully, it was eye-catching, and had great architecture. I love the file cabinet joke that Talos makes and the Hannibal Lecter joke that Fury makes, and I thought those were super funny jokes. I love her glowing. I thought that was a cool effect to add to her. I thought her costume was nice, and I love that there was an appearance by a cat. Even though he really wasn't a cat. He was a flerken. So, what did I dislike about this film? Well, let's break that down too. Goose looks like he came straight out of Men in Black. I mean, literally straight out of Men in Black. He just seems to come out of nowhere as well. We don't know his motivations, his intentions, and there's just not sufficient explanation as to anything when it comes to him and his species either. I thought the swimming suits were kind of silly looking, And I was kind of wondering why some Kree are blue and some are not. I mean, it's not really a deep question, just, it might just be like that, but just wondering, you know. Carol Danvers also has a small bit of chemistry with Fury, but not enough to carry the entire film, which is what it had to do. I also didn't feel that she had that chemistry with Maria either, or Maria's daughter. I felt the story was bland, not making any kind of real emotional impact. The action was quite forgettable. No sequence really stood out. The worst offense, though, in my opinion, coming from Marvel, is that the character of Carol Danvers doesn't stand out in her own movie, and is just not written interestingly, endearingly, charmingly, or empathetically enough. I don't even know if empathetically is a word, but we'll go with it. Making you not really root for her as you should be. And part of this is the writer's fault, but I also think another reason for this is due to Brie Larson's lackluster performance. She portrays Carol as very wooden and stilted, not injecting much more into her character. I mean, all I know about Carol Danvers is she's a girl, she's powerful, impulsive, hot-tempered, and a good guy. Girl. I mean, my bad. The most emotion or facial expression that she exhibited was growling back at a scroll for some reason when she got growled at, and that's not enough in my opinion. And if I reiterate these points, I'm sorry. Also, we get it. She's a girl. She's a woman. A female. Has XX chromosomes. Has a V between her legs. Like, we get the point. We don't need to be reminded of it every other second with, let's show these boys how it's done. You know why they call it a cockpit, right? Smile, honey. Which, personally, I don't think is enough to give you the license to steal his bike. But whatever. Also, saying, oh, they didn't let women into this particular profession, and that could be true, so that one I'm not too mad at. But also the young lady, comment, and then this isn't a game for little girls, and literally having a song called I'm Just a Girl in the background. Like, we get it. We get it. She's a girl. We get it. Also, the whole story about Fury's eye was lame. It didn't live up to the mystery he set up in The Winter Soldier. He specifically said, and yes, I read the transcript for this, quote, the last time I trusted someone, I lost an eye. Look, I didn't want you doing anything you weren't comfortable with. Agent Romanoff is comfortable with everything. End quote. Obviously, the writers/directors haven't seen that film, and nobody advised them. And much screen time is given to Fury. They could have done something way more interesting with that, but they didn't. And I don't know if it's because he's a guy. I mean, I don't know if that's the reason, but I wouldn't be surprised if that was a factor. The only way it could possibly work is if Goose is evil, which doesn't seem to be the case. And even then, it's still lame. I mean, Scratch by Flerken? I don't remember if Goose even had a motive for scratching him at the time. You see how quickly it fades from memory? One thing I wanted to do to get my point across about my main issues with Captain Marvel are to compare it to two specific characters. She has powers that are seemingly unbeatable from the beginning and only becoming more unbeatable later. Very similar to Superman's abilities of being able to basically be unbeatable. But the difference that works in Superman is that he is humble, sweet, undeniably moral, and believes in
truth and justice in the American way.
On the other side of the spectrum, Captain Marvel is very arrogant, hot-tempered, impulsive, and just really hard to relate to, which makes her character less balanced than someone like Superman, even though he is extremely powerful, just like her. Another comparison I wanted to make was with another female-led superhero film, and I'm sure you knew this was coming. 2017's Wonder Woman, released by the DCU, which is, in my opinion, without having seen Shazam yet, the only DC movie to be really good, minus the last 10-15 minutes and some underdeveloped villain issues, but that's neither here nor there. Her character was also extremely powerful, but it was balanced with very human characteristics, such as congratulating a man for making delicious ice cream, saying he should be very proud, and when she gushed over a baby, showing her naivety, kindness, humanness. Also don't know if that's a word, but again, I'm gonna go with it. And she was a strong female character without having to remind you all the time. They showed you, they didn't tell you. For example, in the No Man's Land scene, they tell her, this is No Man's Land, which means no man can cross it, and it's not what we're here to do, basically. And she could have said, but I'm not a man. And that's not the route they took. She just said,
no, but it's what I'm going to do.
Then showcasing her strength, and because of her being so much more well-balanced, and even though it was the early 1900s, they didn't hammer home that guys are sexist at every turn, even though it would have been more acceptable given the time period. They showed a little hint of it, but that's it. That's all that was necessary. The movie didn't feel like it had to push the sexism down your throat. And so because of this, Captain Marvel comes off as boring, unrelatable, and hard to root for. They tried to give Danvers humanness. Again, I don't care if that's a word. By doing the standing up after falling flashbacks and her relationship with the little girl and saying, yeah, I am only human, or something like that. But none of these things landed because she is so hard to connect to that you just don't care due to knowing almost practically nothing about her except her temper and that she's the hero. Captain Marvel gave Fury a beeper to call her whenever there was an emergency, and somehow, during all of the things that the Avengers had been through, such as the attack on New York, Dormammu trying to destroy the universe, the attack on Sokovia, etc., 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 apparently wasn't enough to call Captain Marvel in, which just seems strange. I thought they would explain this by putting her, like, in the quantum realm or something to keep her from being affected by this happening, and it would also explain why she wasn't around for all of the emergencies that happened, but they didn't do that. Hell, that's worse than glossing over it. Overall, to sum up everything, the character was written to be very flat, the action was forgettable, the story was bland, and it was a movie that wanted to have a message of female empowerment, which in and of itself is great, but it didn't know how to execute said message.
I somehow skipped this, sorry. I just wanted to say that just because I'm a girl and so is Captain Marvel doesn't automatically mean I'm going to connect to her. I relate to kindness, humor, humility, charm, idealism perhaps and genuine emotion, etc., not things like gender, race, orientation, etc. I'm not saying these things can't be important at times, but condescendingly, it feels like that's all they were banking on, since there was no, apparently speaking, thought put into story, plot, action, or even just making Carol feel human.
I consider it to be the worst, most empty Marvel film that they've released. There's no justification for this movie existing, other than to introduce this character. And they've been on such a streak of awesome casting and movies that even when not great, were still watchable and had at least something interesting about them. So they were bound to mess up sometime, I guess. I personally wish they would replace the actress because she doesn't inject anything interesting into the character. But they won't because it made a crap ton of money. Also, I'm not ashamed to say Captain Marvel doesn't deserve the name Captain in front of her name. Like, I don't care if it's comic book accurate or whatever. And I definitely don't think she earned character-wise of being the new face of Marvel, which seems to be what they're going for now that the majority of the leads' contracts are up. I unfortunately have to give this movie 3 paws out of 10. So what did you think of Captain Marvel? Do you agree or disagree with my thoughts? Do you think I was too harsh? Are there things you liked or disliked in the film that I didn't mention? If so, put them in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for listening. Please like, share, and subscribe, and don't forget to pounce on that notification bell to be notified every time I upload. And if you enjoyed this review, check out some of my previous work after the credits. I'm Becky with Media Kitten Audios. Bye-bye for now. P.S. I'm also secretly a flerken. I just pretend to be a kitten. Yeah.